Still looking at me.
What is going on, Mighty Gang? What is good? It's Mighty Avenger, the multitasker, back into another reaction video. And is it me or something is completely new for today? Oh, it's because that we got ourselves a brand new episode of DeathBattle. That's right, folks. At last, the new season has just arrived. And not to mention, they got their own channel. So, can you believe that? Yeah, it's crazy. But other than that, we got ourselves a first off of the first episode. And it's going to be Aquaman versus Namor, or the Submariner. It's DC versus Marvel again. Yeah, it's just the stuff that you can't just get away from it. But other than that, this is no stranger between those two, because I do read comics for a living, so I may know a little bit about Aquaman. But to Namor, I mean, he's everywhere, from Invaders, Avengers, well, technically Avenger, but also a founding member of the Defenders. And he's basically currently the lead of the team of Defenders of the Deep. So he's pretty much as a martyr between a hero, a villain, but he is the king of the Atlantis. So now I guess this is the debate begins of who is the superior of the king of the seas. So that's only one way to find out, is to watch this episode. So without further ado, let's begin.
You know the phrase, there's plenty of fish in the sea? Yeah,
true.
Real obvious, but it turns out there's a bunch of superheroes down there too.
I don't think you understand what that phrase
just
means.
Just for the record, I have seen the Aquaman movie. It was an amazing movie.
And Namor, the first mutant,
I actually enjoyed
also
it.
King of Atlantis.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Let's go.
I don't get mermaids. I mean, they're kind of hot, but they're fish people. And then when you meet them, all they want to do is try to kill you. I guess Tom Curry got to be one of the lucky ones, if you know what I mean.
After a chance meeting, Tom was left to father Arthur, the son of a mysterious woman of the sea.
Though she thinks she was knocked up by a fish Jesus wizard, it's not important. Comics are weird.
Regardless, Arthur learned to hone his aquatic powers from a very young age. When Arthur was just 2 years old, poor Tom thought he had drowned when he was actually just playing with some fish while breathing underwater.
Tom trained Arthur to master his powers until eventually his mother showed up with a heavy dose of truth. Arthur was the rightful king of the underwater city, Atlantis. I wish there were more stories about parents coming back in real life.
In the early years.
And so, Arthur would descend the ocean depths to claim his birthright and maintain the peace between land and sea as the king, the superhero, Aquaman.
Oh, are you one of the people who thinks that Aquaman is lame? Well, think again. He's super strong, super fast, and can chill deep underwater for as long as he wants.
We blame
and no, he doesn't just talk to fish. He dominates their brains and forces them to bend to his will.
Only if he has to. He prefers to telepathically communicate with them, and most sea life respects him enough to come to his aid.
Except for piranhas, apparently, which ate off his freaking hand. I know you're a hardcore badass, but make those fish bow to your
I don't
like
remember
kingship,
that.
damn it.
Not to worry. After a few gaudy hooks and a magic water hand, he got better.
Yeah.
Arthur controls sea life by tapping into a worldwide phenomenon called the Clear.
Kind of like the Force from Star Wars, but just in the ocean.
Through the Clear, creatures he controls increase in strength. Some even become capable of breaking Green Lantern constructs. Also, Arthur's powers are not limited to just aquamarine life. He telepathically communicates with all sorts of animals and can even tap into the human mind.
Wait, you're telling me he can mess with my brain too? Oh, get my hat, Wiz, the shiny one.
Well, he has difficulty dominating more intelligent life. His octopus friend Topo is one such example of a being he cannot forcibly control.
What's so impressive about that little guy? Oh, got it.
And for humanoids, the most Aquaman can generally do is cause a headache or maybe a seizure.
That doesn't make me feel much better.
But while Aquaman has plenty of power on his own, he also draws from the mystical might of his most iconic weapon.
The legendary Trident of Poseidon!
and also the Trident of Neptune.
Wait,
There you go.
isn't that the same god? Aren't they the same thing?
Well, kind of. They both can control water, summon storms, create force fields, and unleash lightning. That one can teleport.
Awesome. Come on, do it. Disney World.
It's not gonna work.
You have to be in water.
Yeah.
You think beer will work?
Maybe?
Jocelyn, get the kiddie pool and the keg. I'm going to Disney World.
With
God
added
help
flight,
him.
hydrokinesis, earth manipulation, and more, Aquaman's trident was a perfect symbol to prove himself a mighty king.
Literally, he's strong enough to push around oceanic plates, throw a submarine around with water magic, and lift this giant cruise ship.
This ship appears big enough to compare to the world's largest cruise liner, the Symphony of the Seas, which weighs an incredible 228,000 tons.
He's fast enough to keep up with Wonder
That
Woman
heavy.
and swim around the whole planet in just an afternoon. Oh, and he even fought the ancient dead king of Atlantis, Atlan. This guy was so strong, he sank Atlantis centuries ago with one blow from his scepter,
In
and
minutes.
Aquaman held back a repeat of the same attack with his bare hands.
While there's no official size for DC's Atlantis, it is officially considered a continent. Therefore, it has to have a greater landmass than Greenland, the largest island in the world. This means Atlantis must consist of more than 836,000 square miles. To
Really?
sink or destroy it, Atlan must have been outputting potential energy averaging more than 155 trillion tons of TNT.
Damn! Everyone's always making fun of Aquaman, but he's pretty badass.
Well,
He
he
is true,
does
yes.
have one rather lame weakness. He's essentially fueled by water. If he's away from water for too long, he'll start to dry out,
Yeah.
lose his powers, and eventually die.
Literally like
Lives
a
under
fish
the
out of
sea.
the water.
He wears yellow, and he's absorbent? Whiz! I figured it out! Oh!
No!
Oh, no.
Not SpongeBob. Moving on.
Now, Aqua King has found some ways to work around the water problem. He can hydrate himself with blood. God
What?
damn, that's hardcore.
Even with his
Damn.
flaws, Aquaman is always pushing forward to protect his
I
people.
did not know about
He may
that.
seem strange and silly, but he truly is a worthy king of Atlantis.
Tell the surface dwellers to respect the sovereignty of my seas, or we'll return and
I don't
finish what
remember
we've
the
started.
episode in Adventures of Superman. I need to retrace that.
We all know this story. A wayward sailor meets a mermaid princess, and
Blah,
they fall
blah,
in love.
blah.
Except
Yeah,
this
it's-
time, the fish people got to be wedding crashers and dragged the princess back to her secret home of Atlantis. Her dad was pretty pissed, but he got even more pissed when he found out that Daddy's girl had already been knocked up
Yep.
and popped out a brand new kind of superhero. Namor, the Submariner.
Lord Namor of Atlantis is the prince
Yeah, I definitely
of
remember
the
seeing this intro.
Unlike those strangely similar aquatic superhero DC would create 2 years later, Namor would grow up
2 years-
among his fellow Atlanteans from the
Oh.
start. As the Prince of the Ocean,
Namor
he received
Mackenzie.
an impressive royal
That's his-
education,
that's his
along with a
actual name.
sizable distrust of humankind.
Yeah, I'd have a problem with humans too if some of the first people I ever met were
And he's
Nazis.
the alpha
As the
level
rightful
mutant.
heir to the throne, it was Namor's duty to protect Atlantis.
Okay, yeah,
and with
he's
his
half
mixed
Atlantean,
heritage, he
he's
had
also
plenty
half
of unique
mutant.
abilities to do so.
He's got superhuman strength, speed, and durability. He can store water in his body and shoot it out of his pores like a human sprinkler.
What?
Which is gross.
Far more impressively, he can telepathically
I don't
communicate with
remember
all types
that.
of marine life,
You.
including other Atlanteans, and can persuade them to follow his commands. Whether it be a squadron of armored sharks or a giant killer whale, the creatures of the sea follow the first mutant's lead.
Did you say mutant?
Yes, technically Namor
Yeah.
is a three-way hybrid of human, Atlantean,
Yeah,
and
he
mutant
was
genes.
considered called
Unlike
the
other
first
Atlanteans,
mutant
he possesses
in,
the mutant
there was
power
a
of flight.
comic series.
Oh, is that why he's got those tiny little wings on his feet? I always thought those were like little rudders.
Nope, he flies with them.
Yeah.
Wow, that is dumb.
Namor can also mimic the abilities of marine life, sensing lateral lines like fish or absorbing and discharging shocks like an electric eel. And for even more power, he wields his legendary trident.
All right, how many tridents does this guy have? Let me guess. 4?
Just one, the Trident of Neptune.
I thought the other guy had a trident of Neptune. Oh! I think I just figured out why Aquaman had 2 different tridents.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, this trident's got a bunch
You
of
figured
cool
it out.
magic powers. It can control water, shoot lasers, turn people invisible, and if Namor needs some backup, he can animate objects and his surroundings to create living beings to fight alongside him. And that's not even the only magic doohickey Namor has. He can use the horn of Proteus to summon sea
Proteus,
monsters like Giganto, which is a super whale with arms. Look out, birds with arms. I'm starting a new subreddit.
The Giganto is strong enough to withstand the blast of an atomic bomb, and yet it still pales in comparison to Namor's own strength.
No kidding! The Submariner is strong enough to match the savage, incredible Hulk, who's lifted 150 billion tons of rock for over a minute. If that's not good enough for you, how about the time Namor held up a whole freaking island all by himself?
He's quick enough to catch the Human Torch, absorbed and discharged electricity powerful enough to injure Dr. Doom, took on Thor trident to hammer, survived a mountain falling on him, and even resisted the mind control powers of the Purple Man. See, Boomstick, in the grand scheme of things, little winged feet aren't so bad when you could have been called Purple Man.
All right, Namor is pretty awesome for an elf in a Speedo.
Excuse me? This is not a Speedo, Jimmy, okay? These are my panties from Atlantis.
Oh,
Too bad he
Jesus
gets a bit unstable if he's out of the water for too long.
True, Namor's had a strange history of shifting personalities, sometimes even playing the part of villain. Apparently, his bouts of anger stem from a strange bipolar defect brought on by oxygen imbalance, which, last I checked, isn't quite how bipolar disorder works.
No, Wiz, I have the same kind of problem. I get super evil and grumpy when I haven't had a beer in at least 24 hours.
No wonder he could be a hero
12,
to a villain.
6, 2.
Yes.
Screw you.
Boomstick, that's a chemical dependency.
Ah, just like my personal hero, Bane.
You're missing the point.
Oh, you think the point is your ally, but you merely adopted the point. I was born in it.
What?
How about that? At the end of the day, as long as there is water in his veins, the Avenging Sun is a heroic king of his people and a terrifying opponent.
No, but I am Namor, ruler of the kingdom of Atlantis. Your time in the sun is over.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, I wonder if Blue Apron has any fish on the menu this week.
All right, let's go. Let's get it. Lifeguard off duty. Get that shit out of there.
Look out below!
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that both have a big ego.
The Prince of Blood? Plenty of space around the pool, Spock.
That's the reason how these two get to fight like this, really?
You may be a prince, but I am the king of the 7 seas.
Let's go. Let's get it. Come on. Damn. You know, pissy. Oh shit. Yeah, that's Namor's iconic catchphrase. Imperious Rex!
I will not submit!
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, here it comes. Namor didn't feel that.
Everyone has their place. That's just how things are. You should understand yours.
Uh-oh. Both of them. Backup plan.
You are such a terrific dumbass.
Okay, clearly he's trying to show off. They're in the deep.
Let's see whose power truly controls the sea, shall we?
This fight so far is actually pretty decent.
Or maybe I've been saving another trick.
No!
Yep.
You control me? Impossible!
Oh, that's right, because he can, not only he can...
How about 'em, boys?
Oh!
Dinner's on the king tonight.
Nice.
KO!
Oh man, am I underwater or am I just sweating so much from how intense that got?
Aquaman and Namor's powers were so similar and well matched, this fight could have reasonably gone in either one's favor. In fact, neither had many powers that the other did not possess in some way.
Like how Namor had his mutant wing feet, but Aquaman's magic trident could let him fly too.
Still, while Namor could certainly have won this in some circumstances, Aquaman had the potential he needed to take the victory more times than not.
Namor could match Savage Hulk, who held up 150 billion tons. But remember, Aquaman stopped Atlan's continent-crushing attack, which had a potential energy over 150 trillion tons of TNT.
Not exactly a one-to-one comparison, but consider Namor's own similar feat, keeping the island Utopia from falling. We can estimate the island's size and weight using this panel, coming to a little over 178,000 tons. Considering the weight applied as force through the pillar Namor was pushing up, this means the potential energy exerted onto Namor would only be 1,425 tons of TNT.
Good lord.
The energy Aquaman stopped was 109 billion times greater.
Sure, Namor was fast enough to easily catch up to the Human Torch, who flies over 140 miles per hour on a normal day, and sometimes even thousands of times the speed of sound.
But Aquaman has routinely kept pace with Wonder Woman, who has been frequently shown to move thousands of times the speed of light.
Yeah, but none of that strength and speed would matter if the Submariner just ordered a bunch of sharks to eat him first, right?
Namor could command sea life, sure, but Aquaman could directly dominate their minds and force them to act on his will. And while Namor can telepathically communicate with other Atlanteans, he could not create hemorrhages or seizures like Aquaman could. Though Namor could certainly resist these mental attacks, similar to how he survived the Purple Man, this is still solid evidence that Aquaman's telepathy was more powerful.
Oh, and don't forget, Aqua King can make his underwater buddies physically stronger with the Clear, while Namor was stuck commanding plain old everyday fish.
Overall, while their extremely similar powers were so closely matched, Aquaman had the edge in just enough of them to prove himself the strongest king of the sea.
Aquaman could see victory, but at least Namor tried it.
The winner is Aquaman.
Boomstick.
Hey, thanks for watching the first episode of Season 6. If you want the battle music for yourself, click the link below.
Want a new show to watch? Check out Genlock. It's crazy. It's got Max anime awesomeness, Michael B. Jordan, and somehow I made it into voice character. Click the box.
I may check it out with Genlock. Who's next? Nice. Mega Man. Oh! Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Mega Man Battle Royale. Okay, now this is going to be very interesting. Okay, let me first off, I apologize for chatting during the fight, and the match was very, very even, but at the same time, it's Aquaman's telepathy that was the ace of the hold, because not only that he can communicate of sea creatures, but he also can cause headaches to people, and I forgot about that for a split second, so that's my fault on that one. So it was either way, it was going to be either Aquaman or Namor, but obviously it was a solid defeat by Aquaman. So nicely done. So that kind of surprised the hell out of me, but other than that, I enjoyed it. And I hope you guys are in that same as well. So give this video a like, and also leave a comment down below if you have any requested videos you want me to do. I'll be more than happy to react it just for you. So with that said, I'm Mighty Avenger signing out, and I'll catch you on the next video. So take care, guys.